I can do a clean chant if you want.
Remember, you could be on camera at any point. He's going to switch to you. So make sure you're not scratching yourself or anything like that.
It's on. It's been on. That was on.
That's on. Well, here, is it live, Patrick?
Yep, go ahead.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another question and answer. We were just joking because we have Jimmy, one of our students off camera, was saying that you're going to be live any minute, and he got caught, scratching his nose. He was only scratching his nose, but anyhow, welcome. Another week, can you believe that has gone by? And I'll tell you something, it's been very busy here.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. It's been usually busy. We have a lot to catch up on with questions and comments.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And I do want to talk about something very exciting that's happening tomorrow. I'm going to invite the entire YouTube community, if they're in the Boston area and they want a live class. We are doing live classes at Lexington Arts and Crafts in Lexington, Massachusetts, where what historical event happened in Lexington, Massachusetts?
Oh, the battle of the British with one of them, right?
Was it Shot Her Around the World, or was that?
No, wasn't that.
There was another town that claims that in the area.
Was that Paul Revere?
Yeah.
I hope that isn't on the.
Well, we're doing this class. I'm really excited about it. We have 10. We said maximum 10 people, and we have 10 people signed up. Tomorrow is the first class, and I'm really excited about it. So it's going to be me against 10. Do you think I can handle it, Jimmy?
I think, you know what? I think you get some good rest, a little bit of Wheaties. You know, maybe if your wife decides she wants to make you breakfast.
Was it you that wanted to build a steel cage around the?
Yeah, that's right. Until you finish, you're not getting out.
I don't think I'm up to that because a lot of these people are younger than me. They're all younger than me.
Oh God.
So it's going to be a challenge, and we're going to have our camera crew there.
They might tell you off and spit in your eye too.
But anyhow, I'm really excited. A lot going on here. I mean, Jimmy is finishing up on a project that looked very easy, and we've shown you this. This is his project here, and in a little while I'm going to ask Jimmy to come up to talk a little bit about his ongoing online project. But before we get to that, we're going to say this is a question and answer. It's live, so if anybody wants to ask upholstery related questions, that's perfect. I'm here to answer those live. But we do have a lot of catch up to do, so let's get into this now. And anytime somebody asks a question, we will be interrupted, and that's our first priority. So, and remember, as usual, BroadwayUpholsteryschool.com is the online classes, highly recommended. We have, I did want to mention, we have the fundamentals of upholstery. I guess there's a couple of questions about that. Somebody wanted to know, is tools included on that, or supplies included in the price? So what you're getting with that is the book, the downloadable book that I wrote with the illustrations, and you're getting the instructions on a kit, an ottoman kit, and it's pretty much the basics of upholstery A to Z for you guys who are beginners or you want to sharpen your skills. I think it's got great value. There's great value everywhere in this, but what I do is in this, when you purchase this, I give you my suppliers. The suppliers of the wood frames, the beautiful ash wood frame, and all the supplies needed for the kit, plus more to get you going if you want to do it as a hobby upholstery, or if you're really serious about it. The supplies in there are top graded upholstery supplies, and highly recommended by me, and I give you those people direct, so you're getting that wholesale. No tools included, no supplies included, but you're getting a great book that I wrote and the great instructional video. So I hope that clears things up there. And check us out on that. We've got a lot. We're adding content all the time. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention today, we had Bernice in, who's a longtime friend of upholstery on Broadway Upholstery School also. She is an expert at stitching and slipcovers. So she's going to be doing, we're going to add this onto our classes, slipcovers, because we realize that a lot of our living situations are in apartment buildings where we can't be hammering, attacking, or running a compressor, but we can be operating a sewing machine quietly and learn how to slipcover. So this is what we're going to be offering. I'm really excited about this. She is a really excellent teacher, and I think that you're going to like her. That's upcoming. Very soon, we're going to have a YouTube video on her, Patrick,
Yeah,
to
it's an
advertise.
introduction to a new instructor.
New instructor video on her. We introduce her, and that's another thing that happened this week. Well, there's a lot going on. And another cool thing that happened this week, I don't know if you guys are big Facebook fans, but we saw we're not sure what type of a bear it is. Do you think that's a black bear, Jimmy, or
I'd say a black bear.
a black bear sitting in a dump on a sofa, and he looks like he's just casually sitting there with his legs crossed. I don't know if Patrick can get that up live. I hope he can. I don't know if he can. But go on Facebook and just put in search bear on sofa. And it really, he's got his legs crossed and he's got his paw up on the armrest, Jimmy, right? He looks like he's waiting
he's
for...
at home.
Wait.
He's watching the Patriots lose again.
But enough of this. I gotta get down to work here. In a minute, Jimmy is gonna come up here and talk about his project again. But let's get going. Janine, I think Janine asked one of the most interesting questions here. She is watching the tub chair. By the way, that tub chair, Janine, I know you're enjoying that. I think there's so much information in that chair, in that series with Michelle, that if you haven't signed up for that, you guys, really, I think there's great value in that. So Janine asks about the tub chair. She says, so there was no extra batting added to the inside back. Excuse me. Just the existing older batting. If not, why? It didn't compress at all, she asked in questions. So when you have a fitted back, especially like the tub chair back, the more filling that you add, the harder it is to pull out the wrinkles. So you need it, that's why there was no extra batting added. I probably didn't mention that, and I know I didn't mention that in the video, but I'm glad Janine asked the question. So if you added even a half a layer of cotton onto that existing batting, you would have much more of a difficult time pulling, if you're able to pull out all the wrinkles. Now, I won't give it away. Now, how many classes are we into on the tub chair, Patrick? When is the
Second to last class. It's going to be over next week.
This coming Monday is the last class, but that doesn't mean you can't sign up for all the classes, by the way. But next week you'll see it finished, and she still ends up, Michelle, I saw Michelle actually today, she still ends up with a little wrinkling, which she was warned about that she may have it. That depends on the fabric oftentimes. But the more you bring out on an inside curve like that, the more you bring it out this way or adding padding, the more likely it is that it's going to wrinkle. So that's a great observation, Janine, and great question, follow-up questions. I love your follow-up questions. So this is a funny one. We did one of our videos. We have, last count on YouTube, over 100 videos, I think nearing 120. One of them was adjusting a down pillow while saving money. So Patrick has me wrestling a down cushion, and pretty much that's what it's like. And somebody asked me, Nicole says, is this a self-defense class? I'll tell you, if I recall, that down cushion almost beat me. Jimmy, can you believe that?
It got the jump on you, Kevin. I can't believe it. You being the master of upholstery. I don't know what that is such a title, but
it really got me down, man. Get it? Got
me
down.
Okay. A little run on words there.
But you know that cushion, down cushion, sometimes just need to be. If you guys have a down cushion at home and it doesn't look so hot, take a yardstick. Better yet, if you have a fabric roll, I have fabric rolls here which are perfect because they're clean and they're a little bit wider, and you can really get a good oomph behind it. I don't think I would use a baseball bat, that's a little too much power, but a yardstick is okay too, as long as the yardstick is clean. Some people use it to outline marker. Be careful about that. But if you're going to use a yardstick or a fabric roll, really take it outside and just kind of hammer away at it, and you'll get that down and feather mix to its proper place. You'd be surprised at what a difference that makes. And that's
that Erica just checked in. She's driving again. Maybe it'll be a good time to answer her question.
Oh yeah, Erica, and be careful. Drive safely. We're all about safe driving. What is the question?
I have a few of them on there that I gave you.
Oh, you mean they're written here?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get to her questions because, like you said, Pat, I'm not sure how long she's driving for. So let's skip up here. She is omnipotent mama, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She says, hi Kevin, is there an advantage to hand stitching versus using the tack strip? Okay, I'll answer that question first. So I love hand stitching. I wish I had time to hand stitch everything I do. Unfortunately, we live in a world that, you know, you need to make money and you need to get going. So oftentimes I do use the tack strip just to speed up a little bit. But the hand stitching is just such an endearing traditional method. Occasionally I'll just do that, just when I have a little time, I'll finish an outside back with the hand stitch. I just think it's neat. Now the nice thing about taking a class here is Jimmy, and I'm going to call Jimmy up in a little while, Erica. I know you're not going to be able to see this because you're driving, but it's funny you should be asking this question at this point because Jimmy is just about to do some hand stitching on his outside back, and I'll show you that in a minute, and you'll hear it at least if you're still in your car. But that's the answer. I mean, if I had time, I would hand stitch everything, but I don't have time, so I use the ply grip does speed you up. So that's the answer. So then she says the curved back mid-century cocktail chairs that I'm restoring use tack strip originally to attach the back. I am using an upholstery weight velvet. Also, now, so she has mid-century furniture, which mid-century furniture is they try to get away from the traditional methods. So they used a lot of the machine age stuff, like the ply grip or tack strip to close things up because it's a cleaner close. So it's a cleaner, ending to an outside back. So you may want to use that on a mid-century because you don't want to see the little puckers that a hand stitch makes on mid-century. That's not the idea of mid-century. Mid-century looks supposed to look clean, as you know. So wow, I'll tell you what, Erica asked some really interesting, to the point questions, very observant. And Janine too, both of you guys. So she goes on, she says, also, is the thread that you're using for the hand stitching the same thread that I use to stitch the springs in place? No, and I'm going to show you. She used nylon twine for the springs too, okay. Not my number one choice for the springs. Nylon twine, if you can get jute, I think Erica has a problem getting supplies, which is another reason, Erica, you should probably invest in the kit.
I think she got it.
Did she?
I'm not sure.
So,
I'll go check, but
on that kit,
I'm almost positive.
if she did get the kit, she's not going to get hand stitching thread on that kit. She's got the tufting twine. Let me show you the difference. So, this is tufting twine, which is a thicker nylon twine, and then this is the hand stitching nylon twine, which is thinner. You don't need to double up on it, and you don't want to use cotton. This is specifically made. If you order it through that supplier that now you know who it is, you can ask for the hand stitching thread. It comes in different colors. Although if you're a good stitcher, a blind stitcher, the color doesn't matter, but I usually have a few colors on hand anyhow. So that's the answer to that. No, I would never use this. You cannot use the tufting twine to hand stitch with. Nope. That's for buttons. That's for sewing edge roll, things like that, the tufting twine. It has a lot of uses, but not hand stitching. So we'll put that over there. And then let me talk a little bit about nylon spring twine opposed to jute spring twine. So even high-end.
Give me a little snack while you're doing it.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. Isn't that a thoughtful son? He just handed me some fries, some sweet fries. Thank you, Patrick. So I use a jute twine, which is the original twine for tying springs, and the quality of this, Jimmy, has a nice jute smell to it, right? Jute. And what you do when you make a knot with the jute twine, it holds, it binds. It's hard to undo that. Okay, with the nylon twine, this is one problem with the nylon twine. What happens is these knots loosen up over time, and then what happens is they kind of roll off the spring off to the side. In translation, the spring starts to be tilty. right? It starts to tilt. Even an 8-way tie spring, I've seen where the ties just loosened up. So nylon is a good example.
Erica, interrupt. Erica did buy the kit, so.
Oh, thank you,
got the
Erica.
supplier.
Is she happy? I'm sure you're happy with the supplies you got with that, because I'll give you, for instance, just the tacks, the upholstery tacks. Those are upholstery tacks. If you go to a hardware store, ask for an upholstery tack. You might even get a 6-ounce tack in the hardware store, Jimmy.
Yes.
But what it is the points are thick. They're very thick, and they don't go into the wood so well. Where the upholstery tack is designed to go into wood, and it's a thinner stem. You know what I'm saying? Makes a big difference. Be surprised the difference.
So why would they sell it as an upholstery tack? Is that a
I don't
variation?
know. You know what it is though, Jimmy? It's just the cut. It's the cut on the metal. Whatever dye they're using on the cut on the tacks,
Okay.
it's just a thicker cut. So they might not even be aware of the problem, because how many upholsterers are going into hardware store ordering tacks, right?
But if you were in need of upholstery tack and you went there,
Right.
I would look and say, this is not what this.
Would you be able to tell the difference? Because you've been doing upholstery.
I'd like to think I could, yes.
Yet sometimes you can't tell until you actually put them into the wood and say, hey, why aren't they going in as well as these other techs that Kevin has down there, you know? Because I have the supply. Now Erica has the knowledge. She can download from that supplier their supply list, and she can get anything she wants. Because now, Erica, that was smart for you to do this, because now you can develop a relationship with this supplier, because I keep telling people you need to understand the lingo, and you need to know where to go. There's very few suppliers that are official like upholstery suppliers, and the kit tells you how to do this. But you have to build this relationship with these people. You know, I wouldn't advise, once Erica, you've already done the emailing, keep communicating with the email instead of calling the 800 number that they have.
I think she said she hasn't gotten the supplies. I think she might be having problems with shipping being very expensive to us. I think
She lives in Australia?
Yeah,
It would be.
Let me know about if you have problems. Might maybe be able to help you on that. So did she order? She did order them. But
it says haven't gotten it yet. So maybe she ordered them, but she hasn't gotten it in the mail yet.
Okay, I think it's going to be well worth it. You know, Erica, those supplies, if you went to like a art store and you were to buy those supplies, they would triple or quadruple the price of those supplies, because you're getting them wholesale. So the shipping shouldn't be too bad when you look at it that way. So in other words, I think it's like $100 wholesale for all those supplies. I think that if you were to try to buy those supplies at a store, at an art store, you'd be up to $400 or $500 on that. So it's great value. Be patient with the package. I think you're going to be happy when you get it. And I would advise anybody. I think it's a great bargain. I really do. I'm doing this for instruction purpose, for educational purpose mainly. I'm not out to sell individual supplies or anything like that. I don't want to do that. I love the fact that we're teaching online. I think that's important. I think I want to try to build the business up, try to get more people to be good upholsterers. That's the whole purpose of this. So thank you for supporting me. I think, wow, did Erica have a lot of questions here? So, she also says, okay, this is another question. She goes on in this. I'm working on a slipper chair, similar curved back, comprised of sewn panels. I've been making all the patterns of this piece in muslin. Good idea, because the fabric I want is about $100 a yard.
Oh my God.
She says, she also says the inside back video number 6 that we did was extremely helpful on the tub chair. She's still talking about the tub chair. So she's got $100 yard fabric, Jimmy. I think your hand would be. This is what Jimmy would be if he had $100 yard fabric, Jimmy. I'm not making fun of you or anything, but I've seen.
Yes, you are, Kevin.
No. If he had $100 yard fabric, his hand would be going like this.
Oh yeah.
When he's cutting the fabric, he would be very nervous, I think.
Oh my God, $100?
Yeah, but I've had Jimmy.
I think the most I've spent on fabric.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, I know being in Australia, it's probably.
No, she's actually from Seattle. I don't know why we have Janine's from.
Oh, that's
Australia.
close.
Yeah, we keep getting them mixed up.
That's close.
You know what though? I would love to see
Still pretty far away.
what it is that the fabric is. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
For how many?
Well, $100, Jimmy. I've had fabric in here $500.
Velvet.
$500 a yard. Can you believe that?
A velvet though, Kevin?
No, it's a mohair. That's goat hair. Goat, G-O-A-T.
And she bought that?
Some people buy that, yeah, but not many.
Now, you know the care of the goat hair?
Gee, you just, what's that?
You know what it takes to maintain goat hair?
Here's the thing about mohair or goat hair.
Go ahead.
I've seen it on furniture 100 years old. I've seen the frames and all of the material used other than the mohair disintegrate around the mohair. That's how strong it is.
It's indestructible.
It's pretty much indestructible, but you can't use it everywhere. You can't use it for piping. It makes up too thick because it's a very thick fabric.
Really?
Yeah, and then there are other fabrics
Well,
like...
I'd like to know what made her decide on that.
Well, some people love that. It has a really nice feel. Have you ever been to a petting zoo and petted a goat?
Not lately. Honestly, I couldn't remember, Kevin. It's been some years.
You know, you reach out and touch that goat, Jimmy. Reach out. Go back in your childhood and reach out through
I
that...
made that hypnotic session, Kevin.
Through that fence, that picket fence. Reach out. Put your hand through there.
All it wanted was the corn. That's it.
It's got a very high pile, and it feels nice. That's why people like it.
You know what? You're going to make me go to a zoo in the next few weeks.
Your homework assignment is to go. Our local zoo here is the Stoneham Zoo or the Franklin Park Zoo. That's our local zoos here. And I want Jimmy. That's his assignment. Is to feel a goat between now and the next time I see him. I want to make sure that he feels a goat, right, Jimmy?
Only for research.
Just for research purposes, right?
As opposed to a coconut.
As opposed to a coconut. Now you know what a coconut.
I keep bringing that up over.
Patrick, Kevin's prodigal son.
I'll never let that one down. I'll coconut hair at the bottom.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you can talk about me now. Sure, go ahead.
That's an easy mistake to make.
Okay, yeah, actually you didn't say that at the time.
I'm trying to make you feel good, Jimmy.
I don't want to feel good. Seriously.
So let's continue on with Erica's long. I had
Michaela can see it. She's another.
I know. She just said that she just registered a business name with Washington State to do this as a business. That's how much she's learned from you.
Wow, I can't believe how complimentary that is, Jimmy. Isn't that awesome?
Did you say anything about me?
Well, Jimmy, you're a good sidekick, Jimmy. Come on, you're part of this. We want you to feel proud.
I'm joking when I say that, Kevin.
But I bet you though. I'm not sure if she's watched one of your shows. I know she's watched Michelle, and your show on the Ottoman. I bet if she purchased. Do you know if she purchased Jimmy's show, Patrick?
I can check.
But if she did, she's learned
Hard
things.
to keep track.
She's gonna learn things from you, Jimmy, through your mistakes. And then she doesn't make mistakes.
I think we can cut to another show.
She won't.
Jimmy into a punching bag.
By the way, did you see where they put a punching bag out in the woods and they put a camera on it? You wouldn't believe what happened. All the animals were coming up hitting it.
Well, the thing was, I'm sure the birds thought it was a feeder.
A bird thought it was a feeder. The beavers thought it was a feeder. The deer thought it was another deer, right? The list goes on. Anyhow, I think we've got off subject here, Jimmy. My studio audience is very rambunctious today.
We got a couple of interesting comments.
Okay.
From Erica. So the fabric she mentioned was blue velvet cotton. That's the one she got.
Mm-hmm.
And then she mentions her husband actually from Boston and went to MIT.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
She wanted to mention she got the annual subscription that we did, so she has access to every class that we do. So
awesome.
I'm sure she's seen Jimmy.
Erica, you're our best customer, and I want to just bring up. I'm sorry, Jimmy, but somebody asked me what is the biggest project I ever did, and do you know what my answer was? I upholstered MIT's DNA.
What?
I upholstered MIT's DNA.
How'd you do that?
Well, they had a new building that they had built, Jimmy. I'm glad you asked. And in the interior of this huge building, beautiful cutting edge scientific building where they do all kinds of experiments where they couldn't really tell me what they were doing in there. But in the middle of it, they had this huge atrium area where it utilized the whole building, 4 or 5 stories up. And it's an area, a seating area where they do their lectures. And when you're at the bottom and you look up, it looks like a DNA strand. The seating, right?
Yeah.
So they said to me, we need these pads put on these. They can't move because people are going to walk over them. They have to be fixed they have to come off. They can't be fixed in the place. And every one was different, just as unique, Jimmy, as your DNA. Each one of these cushions was cut differently to fit into this big DNA strand. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I believe that.
So, Eric, you might want to mention this to your husband, Erica, if he was an MIT graduate. So the job came out great. I'm not sure, Patrick, I think you have a blog post on that?
No, that one we have to do.
That's going to be on our blog, so you read all about it, Jimmy. I'm just not making this up. We actually have a picture of the DNA strand. You believe that?
Well, you should have those things that you've done over the past.
Sure.
You know?
Sure, why not?
It's an idea to say, these are my outside interests.
You know, Jimmy, it's just another chromosome in my cap.
Okay, alright, I got that one too.
All right, let's get back to well, we're having fun today. I tell you, folks, I'm going to apologize right now because this has been a long day, and everybody here is a little punch drunk right now.
Erica wanted to mention she saw that when she went to MIT. She saw the DNA thing.
She did?
Yeah.
See that, Jimmy? Did you wonder who upholstered that? Of course.
You have a little, I think we can kind of maybe sneak in a nameplate. Maybe something like 18 inches by, well, no? Put it at the base of it?
Maybe we should have. Maybe I should have done that. But,
Like a signature.
We're the anonymous upholsterer.
No.
Yeah,
No.
we couldn't actually, when you do a job like that, Jimmy, you do have to, there's a little bit of a, guidelines there where you can't really talk too much about it, Although we have a blog coming out, so maybe.
Well, I guess that kind of ruined it, huh? So much for secret squirrel there.
I know. They won't mind. Okay, so I had originally made a muslin pattern for the back by measuring the panel sizes without taking into account that they were angled. This is a mistake that she made. This pattern did not work. Then I saw the video and that was the exact solution I needed. I redid the pattern in muslin and it was perfect. I'm looking forward to seeing how you finish up the chair. Well, that's another great compliment, isn't it, Jimmy?
I'll tell you, you are doing something right.
And then she says, top class number 7 sneak peek, outside back upholstering. She says she's looking forward to that one. Janine, this is Janine.
I think which one was that? That was class number 8? That's already out. That's already up. So.
Okay, so she's seen that, and we were talking today. Jimmy actually is doing an outside back, and we're going to get to that hopefully. But outside backs are really important. Manufacturers tend to drop the ball on outside backs and not pad them up as well as we do. And I don't know how they get away with some of the things they get away with, but they figure everything goes up against the wall. Who cares, right? But we care, right? Because we're traditional upholsterers. And when I get a piece that's manufactured in here, I like to feel that it's better when it leaves here than when it came in as a manufactured piece. Like that. So everybody has a signature. Jimmy has his signature. He's talking about signatures, Jimmy, in the way we do work. And sometimes upholsterers can tell each other's work even before they take it apart. So it's kind of neat. And then somebody just says a basic fabric cuts. I might get to this if I get to I might get to some cutting on live TV here, YouTube. But they said just thank you because where's the information? Where are you going to get this information, right? And they seem very grateful. This is Mina Mass. That's a new person. We don't know who that is. So now Janine asked a question, I think a follow-up question to a live upholstery workshop that we had. A great explanation of making your own pattern for angled cuts with a curved back. Thank you. I'm loving the online class. Thank you, Janine. Hey, we love the compliments. That's what keeps us going. You know, I had to tell you guys, this isn't easy to do. We pulled something off here that's very unusual, I think. This is not easy, these online classes. And we have some expertise here. And we had some really good students who said that they would do this with us. Jimmy has been very loyal, and Michelle, and we're going to have more people coming up, but we're going to stick to our two. They've been fantastic with us. We appreciate all the help. We have, you know, we've made a commitment with equipment, and so we're just hoping that this continues, the success continues, and we grow. So don't forget to tell your friends, and don't forget to check us if you're just tuning in, BroadwayUpholsterySchool.com. And you know, if you can't afford the online classes, go to the YouTube. You're going to pick up a lot of tips there, but honestly, they're not as in-depth. I mean, you're talking about really in-depth stuff, as Janine is saying, that you get from the online classes. I couldn't possibly teach a YouTube class the same way I teach these online classes. There's no way. Because first of all, it's the time investment is incredible. So let's go on, let's keep going. So, this is a good video we did about a popped buttons. There's a lot of pop buttons out there in the world, and if you go to the blog, you'll see that even the people at Warner Brothers called me up, and they said that the Friends sofa had popped a button. Now, how did you believe that? This is just recently. They had what they call a pop-up art, event in Boston, Jimmy. Right? Where they charge you tickets to go in to sit on the sofa on the Friends set and also see all the clothing that they wore and the fountain and everything.
Right.
And I got this call. You got to get the blog on this, guys, because it's a long story. But they had me come in and fix this. But the reason I mention is because somebody said amazing video. Stephen Herman said amazing video about a button, fixing a pop button. But the thing about this is that expertly, we use what we call a German needle with these clasps, and you have to know all kinds of fancy knotting and everything else to really do a job, right? A good job. But I devised a way on that video where you don't need that specialized equipment. Can you believe that, Jimmy?
I would believe it.
So I think
I'm impressed with that. Every time you take that needle out, I'm impressed with it.
yeah, that looks like a doctor's instrument, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like very, very complicated type
Yeah,
of,
let me just hold it like this.
but a nice style to it.
It looks like a syringe, but it puts a clasp into the sofa with two strings attached to the clasp. You push this hammer down, it releases the clasp in the sofa, and then two ends come out this way, and you need to know put the button on one of the strings and tie a slip knot. That sounds easy, doesn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, somebody asked, where did I get the fabric on a job? Let me tell you, that's a tough one. Fabric usually has a first run design fabric will have a shelf life, if you're lucky, about 1.5 years or 2 years. So believe it or not, if you're looking at a video that's 2 years old, it's most likely that the fabric's unavailable. Sorry about that. You could try online Google searches for fabric, but I don't even know the details of that particular fabric. That could have been a custom-zoned material, and that would make it even less likely to be tracked. So. All right, so let's see. So Michael he says, you cut the angle pieces for the tub chair using the pattern from the old fabric. Do you have a video showing how to make these angle cuts? We actually did that live. I hope you saw that on our live show last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So try to get to all these. Before I go any further, do we have any more questions, live questions? Or no? Do we have any more?
Not right now.
So Janine, so there was no extra batting added to the inside, just the existing old bat. I think I already read that. And I think I'm caught up. I'm all caught up. So, I think I'm caught up. Oh, actually Janine made a comment that I kind of like. She says, another great tip video, this was fabric pattern placement, okay? Sometimes I like doing that. It brings out your creative side to creatively match up floral patterns and the like and things like that.
That's when I get about halfway through, so if you want to get into some work now.
Yeah.
About halfway through.
She said she hadn't really thought about the care needed to match her flow fabrics, and she said thank you. So thank you, Janine, and I really love the comments. So that finishes up the comments. Before I move on to the next segment, which is to have, I'm going to pick somebody from our studio audience out there.
Sir, I'd like to help.
I think I see, there's a man, he's coming up, his name is
Slowly.
Jimmy. Yeah, he's getting older, I noticed that.
Yeah, it's well, it's the way it goes there, we don't get younger, we get older.
So Jimmy.
Yes.
Jimmy's well into this chair that when he first brought it to us, even I was fooled by it, thinking, oh, he's got an easy project there.
Yeah, well,
Sure. What do you think, Jimmy?
A big mistake on that part. Optimistic was not
What makes it hard? What makes it hard? Let me ask you, what makes this piece harder than a fully upholstered, padded out chair?
well, we had the backing
Yeah.
with the kind of, I think it was kind of like put together at the, just basic repairs. It wasn't redone the right way.
That's another thing that made it hard, certainly.
Yeah, so we kind of
Yeah.
found things in the back that you only know about.
Yeah.
Definitely the cotton stuffing in the bottom here
Yeah.
was just beyond old.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a word for that.
Yeah.
We had the stitching here in the corner where you have the decking, and you have the angle cuts here and I've never seen anything. Usually it's
Yeah.
just the projects I've done in the past. It's been
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, back. You tack it top, bottom, sides, and you kind of staple it, and off you go.
So you're right about all that. There's one other thing that makes it hard, and that's the profile of the chair. The profile of the chair. I'm just going to turn this sideways so people can see it. And we paid some attention to this, didn't we? This seat was a lot of work.
I didn't think it was going to be.
I know, but what we did was, we have beautiful Queen Anne legs here, and what we didn't want to do is distract away from those beautiful Queen Anne legs.
Okay.
So we had to keep the profile of the chair down, and anytime you try to minimize profile, folks, that's when it becomes difficult. In mid-century furniture, Janine is doing a mid-century, or Erica, one of the two are doing mid-century furniture. You're going to find they're going to up your testing on that. You're going to be tested with this furniture, and this. Even though it's not a mid-century, it's more arts and crafts, it still has a low profile.
Okay.
So that means we're not overstuffing it, right? Overstuffing sometimes is easy to upholster, right? Because it hides a lot. But there's nothing to hide with this, right? It's tight. It's tight, right?
Well, it seemed like also you have the Queen Anne legs, but you had a simple box frame. And there really wasn't anything intricate with it.
But you know what? It does have some interesting things about it. It tapers back. It's not like a store-bought furniture that you would find today. It's definitely just a box.
Right.
And the thing about what furniture today is everything's a template, and it starts out pretty much as a box.
Right.
And then the reason it's so big is because they have to add stuffing in order to take away the box look. Because nobody wants to sit on a box.
Right.
If I want to sit on a box,
fluff.
I'd get a refrigerator box and sit on
exactly.
that, stuff it with whatever, right?
Right.
So that's why they're so big. So a real skill comes in, making something comfortable for a big guy like yourself in a small frame chair like this, right?
Right.
So why don't you well, we don't have the cushion handy, but this also has a cushion that sits up about like this, and it has piping on it. That's a very fitted, tight-looking cushion too.
And that's unusual too.
Very unusual that this is loose, that this is open up here too, which also makes it harder. So we did a lot of work on the seat, and so on the online class.
I think when you next time we have this product finished, we're gonna have to show everyone because it literally wraps around.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe on another live class we'll have the finished product.
Yes.
But now somebody was asking tonight, I think it was Janine. She was asking about hand stitching opposed to using the metal wire.
You gotta show with that.
So let's turn this around. Jimmy's in the process. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, Jimmy? Jimmy's going to love this. I'm gonna do a little bit of work on this for him in the next step.
Oh.
Unless, why don't we have you do it, Jimmy? Live.
Well, I
Do-
haven't done the technique in a while, so I want
You
you
want
to.
me to do it?
Yes.
I'm not gonna hand stitch, but what I'm gonna do is prep it. This is the first prep for the hand stitch,
Okay.
which is pin it. We did a blind tack down here
Mm-hmm.
on the bottom. We pulled it up, and we have this well padded.
Yeah,
we have a
This I'm impressed with.
isn't it? We have
It's
cotton,
not
and
chintzy
underneath
at all.
that we have that stretcher fabric, right? And so it acts like a trampoline in case somebody hits it. It's going to bounce right back, right?
Right.
So our next step is to trim this up a little bit, fold this under, and pin this to the piping that we have there.
Right.
So let's do that on live TV.
Okay.
Now you said that this fabric is $400 a yard. Is it? How expensive is
Well,
it?
why don't you tell everybody how bad? Well,
Yeah.
why don't you tell them what it's made
To
of?
add Jimmy to add more anxiety to his project, he picked a fabric that's very challenging. Not only it's striped like, but it's vine. It has a vine, so the vine kind of swirls in and out like so, and that makes it hard to center.
Right. So when you show, I don't
And
know
if that
you can-
isn't bad enough, let me just
well,
cut a
show
little bit.
cut it back though. We can.
If that isn't bad enough, Jimmy's got these little threads that run to the back. They're the cotton portion of the fabric that create these beautiful flowers. But they wreak havoc on your sewing
On
ability
cutting,
and things,
yeah.
cutting and everything else. Yeah. So
And
Jimmy-
lining it up. Everything
and
had to
lining
be
it up. There's so much about this chair that was difficult. So if you're going into business or if you're picking a fabric, make sure
You know what you have, what's on the other side.
that if for a beginner's project, you've
Oh.
you've done a few things. So for you it was okay, but if your first project is this, you'd be really challenged, wouldn't you?
I would be like, what did I do?
Yeah.
And even now, I'm still saying what.
But you're doing good though.
Yes.
You're doing considerable.
But at least you know what? This is a lesson in fabric. is
So what I'm
it
going to
is.
do, Jimmy, I'm going to show you the easy way of marking this. First of all, there's a piping underneath here. Let me just show people that piping, nice
Okay.
piping, and he's got the cardboard tack tape, and he's got it right up against the piping so that when we stitch it, this isn't going to pull away. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark the edge here so that we know where to cut this, okay?
Okay.
If you want to cut this, you want to be about 3/4 of an inch, right? 3/4 of an inch over from that chalk line.
Okay.
So I'm going to start down here, and I'm just going to cut. I'm going to check myself to make sure that I'm okay.
Okay.
Just going to do this. People get nervous with this, don't they? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this under like so, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a stretch. And guess what? I don't know if the camera can pick up on this, Jimmy. I'm actually going to want to show a little bit about that cardboard tack tape like that, okay?
Okay.
A little bit of the cardboard tack tape should be showing, okay? Because you're going to be hand stitching,
And you'll be pulling it
and you're
together.
going to be pulling a little bit, right?
Okay.
Right. I'm glad
Okay.
you guessed that. Okay.
Nice.
We're going to come up here,
It's been a while, but
and then we're just going to go along here. Now we have to remember that we have to show people this in the online class, right?
yeah, absolutely.
So what we're going to
Can't
do
show
is-
too much information, you know? No one will come back.
That's right. Don't want to give all our secrets away. So when I was learning, there were some men who didn't want to show you their secrets. So
Why?
Oh, because they're afraid you're a younger guy, you're going to take their job.
Oh, God.
So let's say you're looking at me now. This is what they would do. You
They would
ready?
turn their backs.
You
on
ready?
it. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not going to see anything. So look. So what I'm doing here is really important. We're going to get some more pins. So the motive here, the goal is to get this as tight as possible and at a certain distance away from the piping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your corners, you kind of let the fabric fold around the corners like so. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Jimmy, come on, you're doing a good job.
Oh, I'm glad I'm kind of showing everybody how it really works.
I'm going to grab a couple more pins because I'm having fun. Any questions, Patrick?
Nope, but a lot of people watching.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's good. People love watching this stuff, I guess, huh, Jimmy?
Yeah. It's fun. I mean, once you get into it, once you get a good understanding of what you want to see done for yourself.
Now, Jimmy, I want to ask people how they think. What do they think of your performance? We understand that are you in the Screen Actors Guild yourself?
No, I'm still working on that. I need a few more parts. So anybody having any,
Never know.
If you want me to show up for a video?
Can we mention the movie that you were in?
Yeah, go ahead. You can mention it.
What was that? Little Woman?
The Town.
Oh, I thought it was Little Woman.
No. I decided to pass on that one.
The Town.
Yes.
That was a famous movie.
Well, at least
With who? Brad Pitt?
No,
Don't tell me.
Brad Pitt.
Who was that?
Come on,
Matt Damon.
We need a strong
you're still
leading
wrong.
character.
I'm still wrong. You
Ben
said.
Affleck. My
Ben
God.
Affleck. There you go. I knew he was a Boston guy. So how do you discover? Oh, no, we won't have to ask that.
Yeah, they don't want too much information, I mean, I could end up on People Magazine next week.
I know.
I doubt it, though.
I think there's a big chance that we want to know how people think of you as kind of like, we appreciate you doing these question and answers because I think it promotes this type of learning here that we do, some of it in the online classes, some of the questions that you ask are never questions that I would think about. It's only through that mentor apprentice, and we have a question. Yes.
This is from Erica, I believe. She says, finally got home where I'm going. Question, my mid-century chair is low profile seat. It's not springy enough for me. I already have the Dacron on. I rebuilt exactly as it was with cotton, and I add a... She's writing another one.
So, is that the end of the question?
No, she says, can I add a thin piece of foam on top of the Dacron before fabric, or do I take off the Dacron and add more cotton and then reapply the Dacron? I want more bounce to the seat.
Yeah, you better be careful. One thing that she hasn't said in her question is it a saddle seat? A lot of the mid-century furniture is saddled.
Okay.
Like this, right? When you're looking at it from the front, it's saddled.
Okay.
Right? So I suspect that that's what she has. You have to be very careful here adding padding. It's the same principle as the inside back we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
Okay? So if it's saddled and you start adding, this is the inclination, people who don't know will add in order to make up, to get it more full.
Right.
But be very cautious when you do that because it has the opposite effect. You'll get more wrinkling. It's harder to pull out side to side, especially.
Okay.
So, and I really would dissuade her. I would say not to add anything except that what was in there, because another factor is the scale. So if you're adding padding to a very well engineered and designed, you wouldn't believe the design and engineering that goes into these things. They come right down to the quarter, eighth of an inch about padding.
Okay.
So if you're overdoing it, it's not going to look right. So I would tell her to be very.
It's not a saddle seat.
It's not a saddle seat, so it's like a dining room chair, maybe a side chair.
Sometimes
Still,
it'd be nice if they submitted pictures to get an idea.
yeah, I would be really careful. I would say that if she wants to send a picture, if she can send a picture, that would be great for me to look at. And if she can't do it today, we can follow up next time.
Yeah.
With that.
Well, that reminds me, you want to update her on the custom video?
Oh,
Is there an update?
The update is that sofa's ready to go. I just don't have the fabric for it yet. So as soon as it's like first on my list when I get the fabric. So it's a custom video, Jimmy.
Oh, that'd be nice.
So what I'm going to do now is continue cutting along here. Watch your fingers. Jimmy, trust me. Wow. Jimmy he trusts me. And just going to finish pinning this up just to finish it, right? Now notice how I'm stretching from this way and this way up, right?
Which makes it a little difficult when you do that,
Yeah.
I think. Now, how much again is the measurement on this?
That's
when you-
3/4 of an inch oversized, right?
Okay.
I'll get another pin here. Now, Jimmy, it looks like we're almost finished. You're going to be ready to do your
My stitching, my God, it's been a long time since I've done the hand stitching, so it'll be interesting. Get the technique down again and get it started.
I want to show people what I did there because I did it sneaky, right? So I needed this to be tight up and down.
Mhm.
So watch what I do. I'm gonna remove this pin again.
Okay.
So watch very closely if you can. I don't know if you can see this. If you can get a close-up of this. So I'm gonna put my pin in. Watch this. The point is about a quarter of an inch, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling down. Look, I pull down, and then watch what I do with the pin. And then I bend
Bring
the
it
pin
up.
down like so. So what that does, it tightens this whole area up.
Oh yeah.
So then I can get another pin. The tighter you get this, the easier it is going to be for you to hand stitch.
Okay.
Okay? So that's it.
So next time when I do this, now generally, what's the technique with starting stitching again? Do you
Well,
start
this
from
is
one corner?
really interesting. I'm glad. See, this is really one of the questions that's really good.
Okay.
Jimmy is a left-handed person. So as a left-handed person,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be starting this way.
Ah, okay.
It's very awkward. I mean, this is a right-handed person. This is a natural way for me to stitch
Okay.
like this.
Okay.
So for you, it's this way.
Okay.
And you know, we'll get you used to that hand stitch again, and you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. I mean, I like it because you know what it is. It's really a technique that you know you can always use again and again.
Oh yeah.
But it also shows that a little more quality with the chair.
You know, I knew a guy. You know, he was a tough guy. I think he was in the service. He was
Okay.
tough guy, and he didn't believe in doctors. And he used to have a job as a woodworker,
Okay.
and he'd cut himself occasionally. And you believe that he used to hand stitch himself up?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Well, some guys go, yeah, okay, a little bit of ice or something, and they,
No, I don't think so. It's just
Really?
like I got to get back to work.
yeah. I ain't got time to bleed. Who said
Only a
that?
flesh wound.
It's only a flesh wound, he says, right?
Yeah, I think
So
somebody.
sorry, we just like to have a little fun too sometimes, but that is a true story. We have a mountain of true stories. And
You should.
The only trouble, Jimmy, in this day of Google, you know, when I tell these stories in the class, we got 3 people Googling what we're saying.
Yeah, let's see if they're really right. Let's see how right they are.
And,
I
you
know better.
I said, hey, did you see the bear on the sofa? Come on, Kevin, you're making that up.
Oh, yeah.
Bear on sofa. You know, you go on Facebook, bear on sofa, and there he is sitting there with his legs crossed.
Yeah, you think that they would have probably.
There's a bear sitting at a picnic table too.
Is there one?
Oh my God.
A bear at a picnic table?
Hey, wait a minute. A descendant of Yogi the Bear.
That's right.
There you
I
go.
think you're right, Jimmy.
I think I might be right today for the first time.
So Jimmy,
Jim-
guess what? Erica's also left-handed.
Oh, well, you know, there are some great people in this world. You know?
now 10% of the people are left-handed, I believe. Said
Yeah.
10%. And some of the most famous people were left-handed, I think.
Name one. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, me, I'm left-handed
Nice.
in baseball. I'm famous.
Oh, that's right.
He's what?
My son.
I bat left-handed and I golf left-handed.
Do you?
Yeah, but I don't when I right-handed.
Well, here's something odd. I throw left-handed. I bat right-handed.
Wow.
That's my power side.
Now, have you ever shopped at the left-handed store at the mall?
No, is there such a
I just made that up.
No,
Yeah.
but Michaela, tell them
What?
in San Francisco they have that.
a
We saw it.
left-handed store?
Yeah, it's called like Lefties or something like that.
You're kidding
Yeah, it
me.
was really
Well,
cool.
we're going. Field trip, everybody. Next 2 weeks in San
Well,
Francisco.
Maybe they'll have your scissors there.
Oh,
You need
you know
to get a
what?
pair of left-handed scissors.
I know. You know what? For years I've been saying, oh, I can do this, and sometimes it works well, and it depends on the fabric, but also times it doesn't. Really doesn't.
It's not a man's world, it's a right-handed person's world.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right,
Well,
Jim?
I won't go with that, but yeah, okay. If you say so, because this is your show.
So Jimmy, I'm going to put this down on the floor, and you're welcome to stand up here and watch the next episode if you want.
There's
Which is-
another episode
Well,
after this.
We just got a couple of more minutes. I think
Well, there's one more.
one more question.
By Erica. She said, will a taut final fabric add some bounce?
Say that again.
A taut.
Will a taut final fabric add some bounce to the seat?
I don't think any fabric is going to add a bounce as to what she's saying. So what you have on that, you don't have springs, and people try to add springs to seats like with low profile too. That's not a good idea.
Well, they're trying to, I think, to get a body and to try to, when you
Well,
sit
yeah,
down in a chair, you want some firmness too.
She's struggling to get, like, she's trying to make this into maybe something that it can't be.
Oh, okay.
So I've seen every time somebody adds springs to dining room chairs, for instance, it's a disaster.
Oh, I would
Whether
not-
they be springs, coil springs, or zigzag springs, it's a nightmare. So the padding on these furniture, the small profile furniture, always is usually on the top. The webbing's on the top of the frame, and all the padding's on the top of the frame. So that's it. I mean, and it's very specific how much padding you put on. I think the fabric, I don't think it's going to make any difference at all for what she's looking for. I don't think what she's looking for is attainable for something like that.
Yeah, you can't really change. You can't keep adding things and think it's going to change overall.
Yeah, I think
The
it's-
springs, like you say, or maybe an extra layer of cotton or.
She can
bacon.
experiment. She had the idea of using muslin for cutting around the wood frame. She could do the same thing with muslin for something like this.
Okay.
She can.
But I think she's looking for a very hard seat, a very firm seat.
She's looking for more seat.
Yes.
She's looking for more, and more necessarily isn't better in this case. So, all right, let's put this down. I think unless there's another question, I want to put this down for a second.
Okay.
Jimmy, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Put that. By the way, Jimmy, we finished this too. So we got 5 more minutes. You know what I think? Instead of doing this, I'm a little nervous about these cuts myself, and I'm a little tired. So
Cuts.
I think we'll just sit down and talk a little bit before the end, which is a couple more minutes we have, right?
I think you should talk about Bernice.
Oh, I'm
Yes, Bernice, and she's going to be another added member of the
really
Upholstery.
excited about Bernice. Bernice has been probably doing slipcovers longer than I have been upholstering. I mean, she's
Wow.
she's doing it, and the thing about Bernice is she's got a very her background is that she's a mathematician, and has developed a method of slip covering that she's going to share with us over time.
Oh, wow.
She's going to share with us her secret to how to be a faster slip coverer, which in this world that we live in, if you're in business, and some of other people, as you can see, are going into business, they need to speed up or find ways of being more profitable.
Right.
So that's what it comes down to. You talk about value with these classes. Like, she shows a Parson chairs, and I don't know if you know what a Parson chair is, Jimmy. A Parson chair is the legs are upholstered on a Parson chair. All the legs are upholstered. They're very unusual. They're
Like a dining room chair.
Square. Yeah, like a dining room chair, only they're square legs and they're upholstered.
I think I've had.
They're very difficult to reupholster. They cost about $400 or $500 labor each to have them upholstered, and they're just dining room chairs. There's a lot of work on them. Bernice has a way of upholstering, slip covering these chairs.
You're kidding.
Wait until you see what she does.
Oh, I want to be here.
So it's a fraction of the cost to the client, and the profitability is there. So
That's
and-
amazing, though,
yeah.
when you have, because I know somebody who has that. It's a high back chair, correct?
No, a Parson chair is usually it's just an upholstered seat, an upholstered inside back, and it's like the size of a dining room chair. No arms.
Okay.
That's another indication
Right.
of Parson chairs, and those square upholstered legs down to the floor.
Okay,
and
somebody
the
had-
legs are about this long, so they're upholstered.
Well, there might be a variation of the chair that I'm thinking of. The
Yeah, there
person
could
has.
be. Now
But-
the old style Parson chairs, they had an additional upholstered rails connecting each leg, which are really difficult to do.
What?
Those are the original Parsons, but a lot of times you see Parsons without the cross rails that are upholstered.
Okay.
So they're a little tough to do, but Bernice has this technique that's wonderful. So
Wow.
we're looking forward to Bernice coming on board on the online class.
Yeah,
There's that chair
we'll
out
have
there.
to actually probably buy her
Now.
some good coffee. So we've got to upgrade a
I
little
think
bit.
Patrick just posted the picture of the chair, Patrick.
Yeah, it's on Google.
That's
Okay.
great. That's great. Well, I think unless there's another question out there, I think that we're Jimmy. I really appreciate you coming by.
It's fun. This is, like I
know?
say, this is always a good lesson to learn with regard to how I'm going to be stitching it. It's been some time, so to trying to get back into the technique and knowing how you're going to be moving along. Hopefully, get it done in a certain amount of time.
Now, so I did want to interrupt, before I forget now, your homework is to go to a petting zoo and pet a goat.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
And I also have another assignment for you. Have you looked into this extreme upholstering that we've talked about?
Oh, you mean like throwing myself out of an airplane with a?
With the parachute, an iron,
I've never
an ironing board and an
I
iron,
have.
and a piece of fabric.
And all this with a parachute too, right?
Yes.
I can whip this baby around and what? What are we doing? A shirt, a pair of shorts, or dress pants? What are we doing?
I think a shirt's enough.
I would say a handkerchief. Remember those days of you used to be able to do a handkerchief? My mother would do that all the time.
But I'm really looking forward to you reporting to us next week about this.
Well, I'm going to see if I can find a goat. But I mean, I know where the zoo is here, and then, you know, people see a guy walking through a zoo by himself, and I think there's, you know, he's up to something.
Well, thanks again, Jimmy, and thanks to our crew here, our fabulous crew who makes all this possible.
And
Yes.
special thanks to Erica for asking all those questions.
Special thanks to Erica for asking all those great
She
questions.
asks the right questions all the time.
Yep. We'll see you next time, guys.